Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Amber Hagerman, who disappeared in 1996. This case is the reason why we have Amber Alerts these days. Amber Hagerman was out riding her bike with her little brother Ricky in Arlington, Texas on January 13th. After a while, Ricky decided he wanted to go home, so he cycled home. Amber wanted to stay out, so she stayed out. Simple enough. The person who lived across from the area where Amber was riding her bike noticed that a black truck had pulled up in the meantime, and this person had come out of the black truck, male and between the ages of 20 and 30, light-skinned, medium build, under 6 feet, with dark brown hair. Those were the details that he managed to notice. And this man goes and grabs Amber off her bike and puts her into the truck from the driver's side, gets in himself and drives off, and that is the last thing we saw from Amber. A few days later she was found deceased and in such a state that I believe her parents were not even allowed to go see her because she was so badly damaged. So like I said, she's the reason why we have an Amber Alert, because somebody called in once to the police station during this whole time and said it would have been helpful if we had known something that we could look for. And since then they started to put out any details they had on like road signs or on the radio and stuff like that, and that became the Amber Alert as we know it today. And it's quite sad that the person who the alert is named after, their case is still unsolved because we still don't know who this man is. So I thought we could take a look at the case with the tarot today. We've got here 2 decks. I've got the vice versa one out already. It's this one in case you want to order one for yourself. It has the different sides to it. So you can always see the 2 sides of the same coin. And after that, I want to ask further questions using the Santa Muerte deck, which is this one. It has more Day of the Dead themed cards like this. So it's always interesting to use that. At least I like to use that when I try to connect to the deceased. So as per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the decks. I'm going to wait until I have a good amount of cards on the table, then we'll stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's go. Alright, we've got quite a few cards here. We're starting off with a very large amount of struggle here. At least I see 2 struggle cards right here off the bat, the 5 of Swords and the 5 of Wands. I see here the Sun reversed, and for whatever reason this suggested to me that the person who did this actually didn't have a very good childhood themselves. The person who came from the black truck, they didn't have a very good childhood themselves either. A lot of this is stalemates, not being able to move, because the 8 of Wands is normally a lot of action and stuff like that. And in this case, everything has been stopped. There's an internal struggle, which is more of a mental struggle, like certain thoughts keep coming up, I think, with them, that they decided that eventually they were going to give up, because we see the 5 of Wands here as well, which to me signals that they were no longer going to fight the thoughts. So this sounds to me like somebody who had lots of thoughts about what it is that they were planning on doing, and so far they have managed to push it off, but not forever. With this one as well in combination, this is more of a childhood innocence lost as well. You can see the guards in the background there on the wall, just kind of like not letting them in, perhaps being locked out as a kid as well. So maybe this is somebody who had survived a very nasty childhood themselves, and they had certain damage as a result of that, which they could no longer fight. Yeah, the star in reverse is also kind of pointing towards that. And here we also go with the motion that I said earlier. Things are not moving in their life. But anyway, you see here the star is in reverse and the chariot is also in reverse. I'm going to grab you too. So things are not moving as well, and the whatever future that he might have thought that he could have for himself was not coming to fruition. So this is somebody who is mentally and physically in a stalemate, unable to move forward and haunted by thoughts of things that he probably knows should not be done, but he gave up the fight. Let me see here, this looks like the moon and the Six of Pentacles, so this is a bit of an odd combination. It almost sounds like they just thought that seeing her riding around on her bike like that was almost like a gift from heaven or something along those lines. Like, you have somebody here. What this is starting to look like, and what the impression that I'm getting, is somebody who gave up the fight, went looking around, his life was stuck anyway, it didn't really matter to him what happened next. He's driving around that area and he sees her riding her bike and thinks, oh, this looks like I'm finally getting a bone here, like this is something that I am definitely interested in. The reason why I'm saying that this might be that he thought this was some type of divinely guided gift was because you see the moon here. As you can see, there are these stars coming from the moon to the head of the person in the water, so they feel like they were sent there. Almost like you can see that the towers behind them are empty as well. Like if you turn the card around, you can see that these are solid towers and everything looks bright and mysterious, yes, but on this side we see that the towers are actually hollow, and the moon is itself also black. So it's kind of like they felt like the person who kidnapped her, that the world was pretty much hollow. This is a very what's the word I'm looking for, hedonistic, nihilistic, that type of thing. Like, it doesn't matter and everything's a sham and my whole life sucks, I might as well do whatever I feel like. That type of energy is what I'm getting from this card combination. And they may have felt like, oh, this one is for me, this is my turn to do whatever I wanted to do. So that's what that looks like. This looks like the moment that he sees her. So then the story continues here. We've got the Ace of Pentacles and the Emperor in reverse. Now, the Emperor is normally supposed to be somebody who is very caring and gentle, or at least nurturing, wants the best for everybody around them, like that fatherly figure that takes care of the people around them in his circle, and people who aren't even in his circle either, but just takes care of people. But in this case, that part, if we haven't had that part within him, was turned off because we're looking at the back of the Emperor and we're in a bit of a cold situation. The torch is on the floor, but yeah, it looks very cold and unwelcoming, and also guarding the exit because you probably wouldn't be able to get out of this situation unnoticed. So this one is definitely pointing towards taking control for their own best interest and not the best interest of the person that they were with, in this case Amber. And that also seems to be the suggestion by the reversed Pentacle Ace here. So this is no more new opportunities. We're not going to start anything new here. We're actually ending it because we're tired of fighting, because we have here the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is normally somebody who is wary of fighting, and since it's in reverse, I do feel like it is the long-term struggle that they have felt internally coming to an end. Because this is something that is really deeply rooted within this person who had the black truck. We also see this white person in at least a white dress in the background, almost luring them into this cave. So it's like the wariness that they experienced let their better judgment down, and they also saw no other options because we have here the Seven of Cups in reverse. So whatever it is that they had wanted, or actually they didn't think they had anything else to want. It's like a one-track mind situation. There were no other wishes but to finally deal with that thing that he's been dealing with for a long time, that desire that he probably knows is not to be expressed. And I'm not going to say the word because YouTube doesn't like it, but you know what I mean. Now this card initially struck me as a reversed Hierophant, but it's actually the Four of Pentacles, which is also an interesting thing to note. They do seem to be lording over something, but what it really is somebody very carefully balancing their finances. Here you can see the proper way around. So normally it would be like this, but now we're in reverse and this is more pointing towards improperly investing whatever resource they may have had, and I don't think they had a lot because it's in reverse, and as we've seen before, not much was moving in his life anyway, so this is like an imbalance. And maybe also just the way they think about themselves in their life, like, oh, I don't really have anything going on, there's nothing here, there's no resources, everything is nonsense and fake because of this here moon card. So what does it matter what I do? Again, we have here another Wands card. This is the Seven of Wands in reverse. Seven of Wands is normally somebody coming for their position, but it's not an enviable person. Like, combined with all these other cards, this Seven of Wands in reverse almost seems to say to me, like, he really feels like nobody would ever envy him in any way, shape, or form. He really feels like a loser, and maybe he doesn't have a lot going for him, even just objectively speaking in his life. So this would be somebody who is at the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. So they really felt that way as well. Then we have here the Page of Cups, but it's in reverse, or at least the back of it. So this side is actually quite interesting. We normally have the Page of Cups with the cup and the fish coming out, so that's like, oh, big surprise. But this is almost like there's no surprises, because at the bottom you can see here there's also a turtle. Now turtles are known to become very old and be very wise, and they're also turning away from the page. It's like he's not the wisest, but also he's not easily surprised, I don't think. I think that this is almost like a form of depression for them. It's really settled in, like he's feeling very low most of the time. Nothing surprises him. It's again that nihilism that I was talking about earlier, like just nothing's going either which way, and what does it matter? That type of feeling. What does it matter what I do? But I do see that there is a sharp intellect there, so maybe they do have certain qualities that perhaps they're using in an incorrect manner, because the Queen of Swords, as we can see here, is very logical and methodical, can also be very good at coming up with plans. So perhaps he had certain things already worked out, like sometimes people have certain thoughts about, if I were ever in XYZ situation, then this is what I would do. And I think he's also pretty quick on his feet, that he would come up with new ways to stay hidden if he really needed to and wanted to. So I think he's quite sharp, but just in a really bad place. You would have to be in order to commit a crime like that, but just this card spread is really bringing that home, so to speak. So this is basically saying that he was fighting a very long battle against himself, and really Amber is only a very small part of this whole section here. Like 4 cards maybe point towards Amber in this case, and the rest is all about him. So this might be somebody who feels like he's worthy of a lot of pity, has a lot of self-focus. I don't think he cares too much about other people. He's a loner, looks like. Yeah, he really doesn't have a lot of stuff going for him, and I don't really see him being connected to very many people either, but we don't know like any more people that weren't already connected to him via a direct relationship, so to speak, like family relationships. I don't think that he has a lot of friends. He's a bit of a loner, and he really feels like a loser. Let's just put it that way. That's what he feels like, with lots of thoughts that he knows do not belong in society. So that's what we're seeing. Now, he managed to get away with it 25 years ago, but are we going to see anything about him in the future? Let's see what he is up to now, what his life looks like now, and if he's ever going to face the music. Whoa, that's way too much. Not all of these cards are going to be relevant, so I'm going to try to shuffle this smaller stack here after I recreate the initial lineup. Hang on. There's 1. Oh, there's 2. And there's 4. Okay, let's see. Who is this? This is the Ace of Swords in reverse. Whatever he's been setting his mind to has not come to fruition, is what this card is trying to say. So he's continuing to fail is what that is. Next we have the Five of Wands. It's back. They already had it here, but the struggle continues. So I feel like this is also saying, like, whatever he thought that doing thanks to Amber, would achieve for himself did not actually do anything. So I feel like he's still a danger because he is not done. At least he doesn't feel like it. Queen of Pentacles is here, so there is somebody currently. Also, we've got the Devil here at the same time. He's still under control, but there might be a woman here who is controlling him instead, like somebody who has some nurturing qualities but also an addictive type personality, somebody who is keeping them under control. He might be under somebody else's influence right now, so this might also be a person who is easily influenced and guided by other people. So initially he was alone and he decided to act out, and now he might be under somebody's spell. Let's see if we can get some more about that. That one. Ten of Cups. Okay, so I think afterwards he may have actually gotten married to somebody. Wouldn't surprise me if he is now living what looks like a normal life, because that does tend to happen quite a bit with people who have very checkered pasts, shall we say, that they try to hide it under the guise of some type of relationship that appears normal. So this might be somebody who is married or in a somewhat solid relationship with somebody whom he is trapped by. Because the Devil over here, you can see he's got like the strings controlling the people underneath here. They're playing music for him because he wants them to. And it can also mean just some type of addiction or ties to somebody that he cannot shake. Or maybe it's actually the opposite and he's controlling her instead. Like he managed to marry somebody and he's got her under control. What's this then? Judgment reversed. So I feel like he thinks that he's not going to be caught. That's probably what this is. He thinks that he's gotten away with it. You can see the person in the casket there is almost celebrating that they weren't judged. Normally it's judgment, like, oh, judgment day, and everybody gets to come up and rise into heaven, that type of thing. But it's more like, in this case, he does not feel like that judgment day will come for him. So he thinks that he's gotten away scot-free. So this might be that he married somebody to avoid suspicion, and either he is controlling her or she is controlling him, but there's some type of dynamic in the relationship that keeps them together, keeps them kind of trapped. Then we've got 3 cards here. Yes, first one is for Pentacles again, so they're still no better at managing finances. I think that they're both quite poor, is what this is. You can see here the Bridezilla over there as well, like trying to get him to give her all the money that he has from the bank. He's lowering her down to the bank. So this is kind of like, yeah, this is a trapped situation that they find themselves in. So even though they appear to be happy that they were no longer judged for the event that took place 25 years ago, they're not free because they're trapped in this relationship. Then we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Yep, there we go. This is like, normally Two of Pentacles is also balancing of relationship, of balancing of finances, I mean. But it can also be a working together between two people, some type of partnership, and it looks as though this is a -1. So they're both trapped, perhaps one more than the other. The next one we have here is the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So they're very down on their luck, actually, because normally the Nine of Pentacles is being like independently wealthy, resourceful, that type of thing. And in this case, reverse, I think that because of their situation, they're both down in the dumps. So this could be a very poor couple that we're looking at here. I don't know if she is aware of his past, but let's take a look what we get. Okay, we've got the Hanged Man here. So this does look like, even though he's not in a great place, he is actually trying to, yes, continue this new life, have a new perspective, that type of thing. Maybe he's learned a thing or two in the past. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to come forward and tell everybody that it was him, but they do fight a lot because we have the Five of Swords here as well. So whether they fight about that, I don't know. But I'm about to line it up with the Devil here, so I think they have just a very unstable yet stable relationship, if you know what I mean. Volatile relationship is the word I'm looking for, so they tend to fight a lot. He is plagued, I think, with the past still, but he's staying here in this new perspective with the Hanged Man. So they're trapped. It's a new life that perhaps he had not seen coming, but I think he's holding on to it. You can also see him gripping that gallows, basically, that was initially holding up his entire body, but since his entire head is pulled off, he's still holding the gallows, so the head still hangs over the rest of his body, as you can see. I think that he is keeping up appearances and forcibly keeping himself in this situation so that he does not end up looking suspicious, perhaps. And the symptom writer herself came out, which is death in this deck. And death is usually letting go and starting over, but like I said, he doesn't want to. He wants to stick to his perspective, and the death in reverse is saying that he's definitely not willing to close this chapter. So he is, whatever he's doing right now, trying very hard to hang on to the illusion of his current life and thinking that that is going to keep him from being judged, keep him from being found out. But are we ever going to see any justice? Let's go back to the vice versa tarot deck for that. He is stuck in a mental trap. We can see that with the Eight of Swords. That just flew out. So we're putting that over there. So even though he's kind of stuck physically, or at least keeping himself in this place physically stuck, hopefully out of the way of trouble, he is still thinking about her. Like I said, he's not done with that situation. He's stuck in his mind. Right, and now the Hierophant does come out. So that's just actually kind of a worrying picture here, because the Hierophant normally is somebody who is in charge of like an organization, something that people respect. He might have been like a priest or a pastor or something along those lines. At least somebody like that is represented by the Hierophant usually, or somebody has a position like that. And it looks as though he's not doing any type of work on himself, which is what the reversed Hermit is trying to show. And once again, we do see the face in the moon there. Like, he's not looking at the moon. He's trying to ignore whatever is in his past and shining the other way, looking the other way literally, while he's still trapped in his mind with this whole situation. And meanwhile, he does appear to have some type of position within the community or some type of access to small children maybe. So this is somebody that we definitely need to track down, I believe, because if all this is true, then I think he is not done being a word that YouTube does not like. So we might want to track him down. It doesn't say necessarily that he's going to be found out yet though. Let's see if we can get any cards about that, because this is just saying what he's doing right now, what his current position is. Current position, we've got Devil in reverse, not letting go of the habit, like I said. We've got the Three of Wands. Also, no, this is the correct way. I think he's looking to maybe leave or plan his escape or do something, because I'm pretty sure that he's noticed that there has been an anniversary update. I believe the police came out to once again settle some attention to this case, or settle some attention on the case last January 13th as well, so people might be looking around with renewed interest to see if they know anybody who might fit the description of the person from the black truck. And I think he's planning on leaving, because I think in his current area he's not able to keep up appearances, because we have here Temperance in reverse, so that's like unable to keep balance, unable to keep cool. And he might be looking to go somewhere, because I think that people are starting to learn more about his current activities as well at the moment, and giving him a side eye, not being too happy about what he's doing. And the last card that I have here is the reversed King of Wands. So that is somebody who is very impulsive, and combined with these other cards that we've just gotten in this middle row here, it's almost like he can't help himself. He's just going to keep going, and because he's now in the King energy and not in the Queen energy down here, I think that it's gotten worse. And I think eventually he's going to have no choice but be caught for something else, probably not even related to Amber, but just because he can't help being what he is, and people will eventually notice. He is being pushed around, perhaps because of the Three of Wands, that he occasionally moves around, and that also kind of strengthens the idea of a pastor or a priest, because it is an unfortunate truth that sometimes there is somebody in the church who is that way, and instead of having them arrested and prosecuted, sometimes the church will just move him to a different congregation. It almost looks like that. I don't know if he's actually in a church. Maybe you can get something about that. We already have the Hierophant of this deck. Maybe go back to the other one. Is he in a religious organization or something along those lines that might be shielding them? Okay, the last two cards that I got, the actual last two cards, because I said this one was the last one, but the actual two last cards I got were the Seven of Swords and Justice. So it looks as though I asked for if he's going to be like caught, but I also asked if he was like in some type of religious situation. I think that they will eventually catch up to him though, because looking at this Seven of Swords, I noticed that there are these stakes here at the bottom, and he's sitting on the edge of a coffin. It's almost like people used to believe that certain people who died in certain circumstances might come back as vampires, and they would put a stake through their heart as a caution, a precaution. But I think that the people over here have been trying to do that for a while. You can see many stakes there, so this is somebody who's probably well known within their community or the communities that they have touched for being suspicious, and eventually they are going to bring them to justice. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be connected to the Amber case, unfortunately, but I do feel like eventually he'll be caught, because he's got no choice to be caught, because he's continuing to do whatever he's been doing for a long time, and he can't stop himself. So eventually he's going to end up getting caught in a trap and hopefully removed from the streets for the rest of his life. That is what I'm seeing in this reading. Hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.